Welcome to Appalachian Outdoors, your go-to spot for all things hunting, fishing, camping, and everything in between. I'm your host, Russ Cassidy, and along with co-host Devin Kidd, we'll be coming to you from the heart of the mountains where the woods are deep, the waters run clear, and adventure is just a trail away. Whether you're a seasoned outdoorsman or just starting to explore the wild, we've got tips, stories, and gear talk to help you make the most of every moment outside. So grab your boots, pack your tackle, and let's head into the wild together. I'm Russ Cassidy, regional editor of Appalachian Newspapers, and welcome to another edition of the Appalachian Outdoors podcast. As always, I'm joined by Appalachian Newspapers outdoor writer and it's Floyd Chronicle and Times staff writer, Devin Kidd. Devin, how you doing today?
Glad to be here.
It's the weather's been a little bit funky here and there with some storms unexpected and probably a little higher water than people have been fond of. Did get a chance to get out in the water a little bit. Did catch the first crappie I've ever caught in my life. I know it's funny,
As much as you fish.
as much as I fish, and it's the first time I've ever caught one. But got a crappie and caught a little bass. Got out with my son. And that's kind of what it's all about, because we've got an event coming up June 7th and 8th here in Kentucky and in West Virginia at the same weekend. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, casting for kids?
Free fishing weekend.
Oh, free fishing weekend. Well, to be honest with you, probably know more about it than I do.
That's fine. So every year, the Fish and Wildlife agencies host a free fishing weekend. And the intent is to, well, it's a couple things. Number one, you have people who maybe don't see the value in purchasing a fishing license, or who maybe have been out of the sport for years, or who have never tried it. And so for June 7th and 8th, that weekend, that Saturday and Sunday, you can fish any public waters. This does not extend to private waters. You don't get to go get on somebody's farm or something like that and get on their pond. But for your public waterways in Kentucky and in West Virginia, you have an opportunity to go fishing without a license. Fish and Wildlife's not going to check you to see what your situation is. Now, again, some people maybe can't afford the license. Some people maybe don't see the value in purchasing the license. We've talked about it in the past. It's important to be willing to buy those licenses.
Right? I mean, any kind of, what you would say, population control that goes in. Now, that's fishing or hunting. I mean, those licenses pays for that.
It does. And also the Fish and Wildlife officers who enforce the laws, who are the ones that make sure that people aren't out there cast netting for
gigging
things that they're not supposed to be doing. That the laws are followed. They're funded through that license fee, and so it's important to buy it. But again, some people just don't know, and it's a good time to have them because it's happening around Father's Day, and so for me, it kind of has always been kind of an event I think that encourages families to get out.
Well, absolutely.
And you've got two young kids, and so
5 and 3.
fishing can be an adventure. Right?
Oh, anything's an adventure, but especially fishing. Yeah.
How are your kids on patience?
Well, about how you would expect. So, it's non-existent.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, of course, I've got an 18-year-old and a 6-year-old. The 18-year-old's patience is very good, and he's been my fishing buddy for many years, but is getting ready to graduate high school and move on to college.
Don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, but we've spent, and that's part of the reason we got out the other day too, is because I had an opportunity to go out with him before he went to work. And for the last 5 years, especially, he and I have been on the water nearly constantly.
And a lot of different waterways from what I remember you saying.
Well, yeah. So what we did was, during when COVID hit, I hadn't been fishing in several years, and I hadn't taken him in several years. And so what I did was, literally the week it hit, I bought our licenses and I ordered 2 Bill Dance rigs from Bass Pro Shop, and got a couple baits and stuff like that, and some hooks. Which it was funny, sinkers. It's the weirdest thing. Our sinkers were hard to come by. because of importation from
That
China.
blows my mind.
It was the weirdest thing. Like you could find hooks and you could find, but you couldn't find sinkers. So we got the few sinkers we could, and we got out and we fished, and it helped him to have something to do,
Absolutely.
and me too. And so
You think about that age, and just all of a sudden your world's turned upside down.
there was a lot of kids who were pinned to a video game system, which don't get me wrong, he had his fair share of video gaming. But he had the opportunity to get outside and go outdoors, and we found many different waterways. We fished Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, just all over the place, and just tried to really get out there. I hope that people can take this free fishing weekend, and maybe if it's something they've not considered in the past, listen, there's very few things you can do that's as cheap as a fishing license that provides the amount of fun. I think mine's $35, and that's with a trout stamp. And if you don't intend to keep trout, you don't even have to buy that. I think it's just $25, I think, for the minimum. Buy the license, but go out if you haven't had one in a while, give it a shot. Find your neighbor has a fishing rod you can borrow.
I guarantee it.
Everybody's got
Eastern Kentucky.
Everybody's got that garage full of fishing gear. Go ask somebody to borrow them and get out there and go fish, and take advantage of it. And then again, support your fish and wildlife by buying your license once that weekend's over, and hopefully you'll be able to make a lifetime of memories.
And there's no excuse really not to this weekend. I mean, it's there, like you said, there's nothing cheaper than free.
Yeah, exactly. And once you have that license, you have access of all of Kentucky's public waterways, 24/7, 365, rain, sun, shine, night, whatever. I mean, you are legal to have that.
I know you can attest to this. There's so many like little hidden gems of water. I mean, it's not like it's good to venture. Like you said, you all went 3 or 4 different states, but I mean, I guarantee within a couple of miles of anybody's house, there is a hole of water somewhere with fish in it.
And there are some surprising ones too. And so, yeah, we found a few, and we'll talk about a few of those. I've mentioned a couple of them in the past, like Fish Pond over in Letcher County, which is a big time hidden gem that we'll probably do a little bit more on as we go. But let's move on from fishing. Let's talk about hunting. I understand hunting's kind of dead this time of year to some extent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there is some activity you can get into that's different, and you tried this last year.
Absolutely.
Well, talk to us a little bit about this. It's chase season?
Yeah. Chasing for black bears.
Okay.
So with hounds, with dogs. And, myself having hunted this area my whole life with beagles for rabbits, cur dogs for squirrels, and walkers for raccoons, different things. I mean, you talk about something that is just a 360. I mean, from any, and you said before, I mean, if there is a season on it, if it bugles, if it grunts, if it gobbles, I will go after it. But I had never got the chance to go after black bear. So,
and again, you're not at the end of this, you're not killing the bear.
Not in chasing
right.
season. So, which comes in, I believe it's June the 5th, 6th, somewhere through there. It's beginning of June. But, so, got a good buddy of mine got up with me, and we wanted to write something up for the Outdoor magazine on it, because it's growing, and obviously we know that the population of black bears, especially in our part of the state, is growing, especially compared to most other parts. And so I got the opportunity to go, and I know you've watched Mountain Men.
Yeah.
So you've seen I think they call it rigging, is actually the term for it. Get on the side beside the truck, you flip the dogs on the back, and then you drive, and they're winding the whole time.
Yeah.
And I've never done that. Let the dogs out, follow the dogs. And most of the time, it's with a raccoon, squirrel, whatever, it's a couple 100 yards, if that. They've treed, you go to the tree. The lead dog, whose name was Kane, which was a plot hound, I think they originated in North Carolina, I'm thinking. He gets on this track, on this bear. 2 miles later, I'm talking, crosses 2 hollers, 2 ridge lines. 2 miles, probably an hour later, we drive to a pretty accessible place, and we walk up the hill. And I've seen a lot of things in the timber, but when you're walking up a hillside and you look, and in the top of the tree, there's just big black blob that looks completely out of place. and you're walking, and I'm just looking. I'm saying, I'm doing this, and I never will forget me and the boy that was walking up to it, another good buddy of mine. So there's 7 or 8 dogs at the bottom
Yeah,
of this
yeah.
tree just cutting the shine. And we get within 30 yards of this tree. The bear still hasn't seen us, but it's watching the dogs. And it looks down and sees us and it goes, "Growl." And I never forget, I looked at him, I said, "This is normal, right? It's supposed to do that. Do I need to call my wife, tell her to pick out my clothes, all this and that?" And he's like, "No," he said, "It's and for the next 30 minutes, we're backing off with the dogs, hoping the
Yeah.
dog's beating on the bottom of the tree, trying to get the bear to come down the tree. So this was a stubborn bear. But to look up, see something that's 300 pounds walking on a limb that looks like it's that big around, looks like it's floating in there, it's just unbelievable. So, I mean, long story short, bear comes down the tree, shimmies down the tree, jumps down. The dogs get on him again. Another mile later, we tree the bear again. And it's after the second time,
Mm.
Earl, who's the bear guy, he says, "You tree a bear the third time, you're asking to get a dog hurt." So we cut it off at 2. But it's unreal. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely, he messaged me, said, "Are you ready to go again?" Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, and it's a way, I guess, the dogs get some practice.
If you
Humans get a little bit of exercise. Bear gets a lot of exercise.
if you like hounds, if you like dogs, you like training, running dogs, you need to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it is unreal the area that they will cover. I mean, my buddy said, and he hunts them regularly. He said, 500 acres. It's hard to keep a bear on 500 acres if you got dogs after them. I've never hunted a property that I think I've had access
Yeah.
to 500 acres.
Yeah. Well, and again, the big thing to stress with that is you don't kill the bear at the end of the process. It's
That's been October.
October. Yeah, later in the year we have our bear seasons. But yeah, it sounds really incredible. And it sounds like a good way to break the monotony of the waiting on the deer season to come around.
It's a really eye opening because obviously a bear is, compared to most other critters around here, you don't mess with a bear.
Yeah.
And contrary to what most people believe, it ain't like when I was looking up that bear, Earl was telling me it's not like this thing wants to come down here and have a fist fight with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they're just as worrisome of you as you are them. And if we didn't have the dogs, it's untimely
Yeah.
bears that I've walked by in the timber because they can smell so good. They probably smell you 2 miles
Yeah.
away. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, again, enjoy free fishing weekend, June 7th and 8th. Get out there however you can, even if it's just hiking or whatever. We appreciate you guys staying with us. Still want to hear from you. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about or get into. You got some story ideas, whatever, just message us or leave a comment below. But definitely subscribe to our pages. And again, we appreciate everybody going along with us on this journey, and hopefully we'll take some really interesting turns in the road as we go. Again, I'm Russ Cassidy.
Devin, kid, pray for a few rainless days.
We'd like some clearance on that. So, but again, we're Appalachian Outdoors podcast, and thanks for listening.